Alright guys, welcome to another wrestling entry. This one's going to be about The Undertaker and his streak. Now I did another one before, which was like a more overall opinion of the streak, about if it should be broken, who should break it, what type of superstar should break it. And that's, but this one's more about, I've seen articles the last few days about, because The Undertaker's involvement with the Shield and things like that, who is he? And of course, after every WrestleMania, who is he going to face the next one? People like to. I mean, we're not even a month removed from WrestleMania 29, and everybody's already, on the streak bandwagon. And as everybody knows, how much the WWE creative push, and then de-push people. You couldn't, someone else could be. The whole landscape could have changed. Obviously, Cena will still be the star man, but aside from that, the whole landscape could have changed. People could have, I don't want to tempt fate, but some people could have died, and other people could be in TNA or retired, or injuries. So yeah, I mean, speculating on the Raw that's going to happen in about 4 days from now is tough enough. Let alone, speculating on the terms of, it's obvious with the wins and stuff, but who's going to get a push and stuff. They just like to keep, go back and forth, fluctuate between who they want to push. Cesaro, great point. He's someone who they just don't know what they're doing with. But I was seeing these reports, and they seem to be suggesting that Ryback is going to get the, is the early initial, idea is to put Ryback to take on the streak, which I think, given the only other person that seems to be brought up is John Cena, I don't know. I mean, I think kind of both of them. I think with Ryback, he is the younger. Well, he's the younger in term. The Ryback character is the younger character. Like, he's only been around about a year now, so he'd been about 2 years by the time he took on the streak, and it's believable. I mean, the guy's a big guy. He could easily, I reckon he could beat the Undertaker believably and things like that as the character, and a Terminator against a dead man. I mean, they might play on that, they might not. It depends. And then you got, it would do Ryback. If Ryback can get some personality and stuff like that, it could get him, over more. I mean, it could, people are saying putting Paul Heyman with him. Well, fair enough. I think he is someone who could do a Paul Heyman. I mean, putting Punk with Heyman was a bit of a, I loved it. I hope somehow they maintain some type of camaraderie on screen, because I like them together. I thought that neither overdid the other. I felt it was, Punk said what he needed to say, Heyman said what he needed to say, but with Ryback it'd be very much a Brock Lesnar-Heyman relationship, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, it got Brock over, at least with the crowd, at least with the usual wrestling audience, so there's no reason why it can't be done with Ryback. And I think that with Ryback being like a proper student of the game, I mean, he's loved wrestling for years. From I forget what his name in real life is, but I've seen interviews where he's actually, he's referenced things. He's kind of back, almost like academic essay. He's backed up, his theories and what he thinks by being a student of wrestling. And he seems quite a trusting guy who would stick with a company. He seems to be a stand-up guy, but who knows? Obviously, sort of when things like money and prestige wage their ugly head, it can bring out the green monster in everybody. But yeah, having Ryback against it, sure, the Ryback thing, it will still have probably momentum by then. Who knows? I mean, they have to really turn him into a monster, a big monster, really, against Cena. Because otherwise Ryback's gonna just, he's already lost a few pay-per-views in a row now. He's not exactly on the best streak, and yeah, he needs something to kickstart. And unless he joins the Shield, I mean, I think that other than winning the belt at Extreme Rules, I think him leading the Shield or something, because they're all on the same kind of mission. Like, Ryback wants to get back at Cena, and I guess you can bring Justify to that, whatever, and the Shield want to make, they want to be Justice, and all these kind of common denominators really are in place. Otherwise Ryback needs to take the belt, and he'll just be a transitional champion probably. I don't know. So again, who's gonna go after Ryback if Cena can't? Perhaps a Sheamus, but I don't know. And then in regards to Cena, would Cena and Undertaker be the star show? I don't know. I mean, the thing with the Undertaker is Undertaker, I think the important thing with the streak was Undertaker, because Undertaker's a worker and he can, Undertaker for a big guy has quite a lot of moves. Yeah, he still does his own 5 moves of doom, but every wrestler does, But I think with the successful Undertaker matches, he's been in the ring with people who can move and work. If they're not the greatest wrestlers, they're good. They're great workers. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, and there's Edge and Batista could still go. Batista was more of a throw you around kind of guy, but Edge was a storyteller as well, so he got put with the right people. And if you look at how long some of the matches last, the ones that lasted half an hour, 40 minutes plus, were with the punks and with the people who could wrestle. That's what you needed, because you knew Undertaker's pretty much going to win. You know that. You need to be instead structure your mind to appreciate it from a wrestling and artistry point of view. You can't go into the streak match, Undertaker's going to win. What's the point? Because it's just you have to accept it as an art form. So I think that's the best thing. And then putting Ryback in, it'll boost his character if he did win or whatever. He did break the streak. It would give him it would put him on a pedestal that nobody else has ever gone on, because it's undefeated. And he goes from there. But it could end up being like a Mark Henry or Big Show match where there's not really much going on. It's just kind of a bit of a brawl, few punches and kicks, and just basically rinse repeat. Whereas I think in this stage in Undertaker's career, especially with only wrestling once a year pretty much, aside the big events, he needs somebody who will work. And I don't, and I think with Cena, Cena's capable of, like we saw him against CM Punk in TLC, and pretty much so many matches he's had with Punk, he has done a good, he's brought out a lot more to his repertoire of wrestling skills. Why he doesn't do that more, who knows? Perhaps it's WWE thing, perhaps it's his thing, I don't know. But it just seems funny that he can bring out all these moves against Punk, but everyone else, he just don't seem to do the moves, or they're not required to defeat people when Punk's half the size and stuff like that. But either way, so personally, I would go for, if you're going to go with someone at the streak, I reckon Dolph Ziggler is my initial pick right now, or a Wade Barrett. I think Ziggler is certainly more skilled in wrestling style than Wade Barrett. But again, sort of Barrett needs a push, if before then. But Ziggler's a workhorse. Ziggler is a guy, he could play that kind of Punk Shawn Michaels kind of thing where he is the smaller guy. He's going to have to hit and run, duck and dive, wheel and deal to get around. He can sell unbelievably. Could you imagine Ziggler at WrestleMania with The Undertaker? He would sell The Undertaker's moves really well. So personally, I would say whatever the situation, unless something changes or anyone develops, my pick, a mere 11.5 months away from WrestleMania 30, is for Dolph Ziggler to enter it. I just think he's a worker. I think the only other person kind of close that hasn't gone against him in WrestleMania thing is Daniel Bryan, off the top of my head. Obviously this is off the top of my head entry. So, but I'd go with Dolph Ziggler at this moment in time, and because and if you make Ziggler, he still needs from right now to pull off a couple of big wins against some people. He still needs to, I think, legitimize his position as the champion. He's that damn good with what he can do. He just needs to have those few little rivalries that are going to really solidify him. But don't know, hopefully that gives a bit of food for thought. I've seen these articles, so I thought I'd give my view. Thanks for listening. As always, like, comment, subscribe if you want to, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.